Miller is the founder and CEO of Slingshot Memphis. And Justin and I came to know each other, I think through Hannah Holcomb, one of our board members, probably Justin 3 years or so ago. And wanted Justin to be able to come and talk about their very important work here in our city, our partnership that we have had this year, and any comments you want to make around that assessment. So Justin.
Great, thanks David. I am excited to be here, and it's not a surprise. What Slingshot is doing is very relevant to the work in this room. So giving is hard, personally and professionally, we get it. We think giving is especially challenging in Memphis. We have limited resources, and we have huge yawning social ills like poverty, and so it's upon us to be really good stewards of those resources. And in a nutshell, that's what Slingshot aims to help with. So as Brother Kirkwood mentioned, he used the word harvest, which we think about this challenge, limited resources and huge challenges as an opportunity. What if we began investing more of our limited resources in solutions that have the greatest return? There's evidence outside of Memphis that if we did that, things would really change. And so at Slingshot, we like to say this, and it's definitely appropriate for the word love and agape. We are called to love our neighbors as ourselves, to create more justice. We are called to relinquish more, and we are called to do so faster and with more impact. This demands more urgency and more transparency. And so Slingshot's mission is to create a demonstrable reduction in poverty by promoting a results-driven poverty-fighting ecosystem. So what do I mean by a results-driven poverty-fighting ecosystem? It is working alongside nonprofits, businesses, faith-based communities, government, to make really good decisions about how we invest our resources, whether that's volunteerism or capital or otherwise. And so our mission is dependent upon 3 critical functions. And as I walk you through these functions, I want you to know that the ordering of these functions really matters. So first, Slingshot, I think, is uniquely equipped to identify which organizations have the evidence or the potential to create the most impact. Slingshot is uniquely equipped to identify which organizations have the evidence or the potential to create the most impact. Why does this matter? Because as it was mentioned on the recent panel, there are thousands, literally thousands of nonprofits all fighting for limited resources, and this is not sustainable, nor is it effective, especially for our under-resourced neighbors. The second thing that Slingshot does is we walk alongside our partners like Agape, and I saw some of our other friends, CIS and CEO are also in the room. I'm sure there's others. We walk alongside them to help them support their poverty-fighting impact. I think most of us in this room would agree that researching best practices, doing benefit cost analysis, evaluating things like systems level change, all of these things are paramount for an organization to maximize its impact. Unfortunately, most of our partners don't have the bandwidth or the resources to do these things. We believe that Slingshot is a really smart means to fill this particular gap in Memphis, and so we do that. The third thing we do, we think that Slingshot is uniquely positioned to attract and direct more resources, often resources that would not be invested otherwise, and this includes private and public dollars. One thing that's a little unique about our model is that we do raise capital and we inject it into our amazing partners because what they're doing demands resources to do it, right? But ultimately, we want to shine light on those things that really are working well so that people can invest in them directly. We think that's really important as well. So our team of experts, and I'm a bit biased, but I do recommend go to our website and look at the bios of the people that work at Slingshot. I often say any good roadmap for success is only as good as the people that execute it. And there are people from all over the world here doing amazing things. And I'm grateful for them. So what they've done is they've built what we consider to be a very cost-effective and accurate way to estimate the impact of a nonprofit. Our focus is fighting poverty, of course. And so we look at 4 dimensions. And really this tool, it's nothing more than a way for us to ask the right questions. It's really nothing more than a way for us to identify what are those things that really move the needle. And so as part of our impact assessment, each of our partners are rated across 4 dimensions. And so we do this not in a way to judge our partners. It is a genuine partnership. We do it in a way to create a baseline. Where are you at? So as you can see, it's benefit-cost ratio, which is pretty simple. What does it cost, and what is the impact? The second thing is best practices. It sounds pretty common sense, right? But a lot of times our nonprofit partners don't have the time to research best practices in the field outside of Memphis. And so what we do is we say, are there best practices in the field? Do you know what they are, and are you following them with fidelity? And we help them research those things, which is really important. The next is measurement infrastructure. It's a feedback loop. Are you measuring stuff? Does it matter? Is that information that you're measuring useful for you to get better over time? And so I think we're pretty good at that as well. And the last thing is systems level change, which is really important. It is, how are you creating change beyond the beneficiaries that you directly serve? How are you changing the game? And so again, we're not creating this grid to judge anyone. It's like, hey, where you at? And then how do we unearth together actionable intelligence for partners to move from left to right, to become best in class? And so as we go to the next one, this is our recent impact assessment. We were fortunate, although as David mentioned, we've been back and forth for about 3 years now exploring partnership opportunities. We began working with Agape, thanks be to God, in January of this year, and it has been fantastic. And let me state what you already know. Slingshot is learning a lot more from Agape, Julie and her team, and David, than Agape would ever learn from Slingshot. But you know what? I think a lot of other organizations are going to learn from Agape as well. Part of our work is to unearth this information. And so this is our ratings overview, but behind this is literally 40 pages of research and impact chains, and using data from Agape itself and also third-party information to understand where they currently sit along each of these dimensions. And so what Slingshot is built to do is to celebrate those things that work and to identify growth opportunities for all of us to get better. For us to create a better quality of life for our under-resourced neighbors, funders and fighters have a lot of room to get better. And so Slingshot is just interested in sharing this information, being really transparent about it. Slingshot is not a silver bullet. There's not one, but we are grateful for this partnership. And as you can see, this is rare to have an organization that is so far to the right. Again, David will tell you, Julie will tell you, they're not done. They've got a lot of room to grow, and certainly Slingshot does. But this is so promising. We are called to be extremely good stewards of our resources, and that's one of the reasons we're excited about this partnership.
Justin, thank you. We are thankful for the partnership and thankful of your work in Memphis and working with nonprofits and our doing this together.